Hi, I want to talk about evolution today. I don't know why, I just woke up in a mood. There are two basic material elements of evolution. You need a replicator in an environment. So you need a thing that can copy itself or make copies of itself in a space that has stuff in it that can be used to create copies. And there are two basic procedural components. You need random mutation of the replicator and non-random selection among the results of the mutation. In practice, this would happen anytime you have a replicator in an environment because it would violate the second law of thermodynamics for a replicator to only ever replicate perfectly. And the qualities of the environment interacting with the mutated replicators will result in some of those mutations being better than others at creating more copies of itself in that environment. Now, it is important to understand that not every replicator is made of like DNA and RNA, and in fact, when Darwin first introduced the concept of evolution, he predicted that we would find a mechanism that is the gene, but we didn't know what it was at the time. But to narrow in on biological evolution for a bit, there are three main selective pressures. The most well-known one is natural selection. This is when, for the possible variance along a given trait, a particular subset of the manifestations of that trait results in more offspring. So if you have a plant with leaves that range from green to red, and this subset of the plant does the best at getting enough sunlight without taking too much radiation damage, plants with that colored leaves are going to reproduce more, and over time the distribution of qualities will recenter around that detail. So that was natural selection, which I forgot to write on the board. The next selective pressure is sexual selection. Now let's say you've got a population that's just already pretty well optimized along a given trait for the environment where it lives, like bunnies whose bell curve is centered around a particular shade of brown that's very good camouflage for where they are. But actually those bunnies prefer to mate with bunnies whose fur stands out in a particular way. That's going to result in selection away from the hypothetically optimal fur color because, and this is important, evolution does not produce creatures that give a fuck about their own evolution. It is deeply unnatural behavior to feel invested in the evolutionary success of your species. The third kind of selective pressure is genetic drift, and if this is the only kind of selective pressure, we wouldn't have evolution because it is random. This force is strongest in smaller populations, and it's when, due to circumstances, a bunch of them just die, or fail to reproduce, or through statistical nonsense, just some of them reproduce more. Genetic drift is just any situation where the consequences of randomness are stronger than the selective pressure of the non-random processes involved. I have no idea why I'm making this video.